Good morning, I'm Savannah Sellers.
And I'm Zinclea Samoa in for Joe Fryer. Breaking this morning on alert. Hurricane Ian strengthening overnight, now back to a Category 1 hurricane and moving in on the Carolinas after leaving a trail of destruction in Florida. Charleston, South Carolina is now preparing for the worst. Ian is expected to hit the state's coast later today, bringing with it winds of up to 85 miles per hour and warnings of a life-threatening storm surge. In Florida, people are picking up the pieces this morning from Ian's devastating damage. At least 12 people believed dead, but that number is expected to climb. The state has so far refused to officially comment on the deaths.
Amid the carnage, heroic stories are emerging from the rubble. Rescue teams and ordinary people now working as quickly as possible to help those caught up in Ian's wake. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying rescue efforts have been going non-stop.
Some of the damage was, almost indescribable. We've had the National Guard out assisting people. There have been more than 700 confirmed rescues, and there's likely many more than that.
We'll have full coverage this morning. In just a moment, we will hear from Fort Myers City Manager Marty Line, where they took a direct hit from Ian. But let's start with meteorologist Michelle Grossman with the latest track. Hey, Michelle, good morning. What do we know right now?
Good morning. Good to see you guys. Well, we know that conditions are worsening in South Carolina. We're seeing nearly tropical force winds already. We're seeing heavy rain falling, and we are seeing a Cat 1 storm that will make landfall in South Carolina later on today. So let's look at the latest because it did weaken yesterday. We saw a lot of rainfall. It's good to look back at a storm's history to see what we're going to see going forward. It's not the same system as it was yesterday, but still really strong and will bring a lot of rain, a lot of wind, life-threatening storm surge in many spots. So the strongest wind gusts we've seen up to 85 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. We saw 67 mile per hour wind gusts in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And we could see winds gusting like this today, certainly near landfall, certainly near Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. And we saw a lot of rain. This has been a story of water and wind with this hurricane, mainly water, because we have seen nearly 30 inches of rain in some spots. That is a lot of rain. Orlando saw over a foot, and we are projecting and expecting to see a foot of rain in some spots in South Carolina today. So that is a serious situation. It comes fast, it's furious, and we could see some life-threatening flash flooding as well. This is what it looks like right now, 85 mile per hour winds moving north at 9 miles per hour. We do expect it to pick up some speed as we go a little bit forward in time. The location 105 miles south-southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. That landfall expected later on this afternoon. But notice the winds, the buoy right off the coast, 51 mile per hour wind gusts. And we're seeing a tropical storm force wind in Charleston right now at 39 mile per hour, 39 mile per hour in Savannah, up to 32 in Myrtle Beach, 33 in Wilmington. So the winds are certainly starting to pick up. We're feeling the effects of Ian, and we will continue to feel the effects. Tropical alerts for so many still, 13 million people impacted throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, portions of Georgia as well. Where you see the red, that is a hurricane warning, and that means we will be feeling hurricane conditions later on today. Flood alerts as well. You saw that heavy rain falling on radar. We saw the brighter colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, indicating heavy rain is falling already at this hour and will continue to fall for several hours. So we do have a flood watch for portions of Virginia into the Carolinas and a little smidge of part of Georgia. We're also looking at a flash flood warning. That means flooding is happening right now. That's where you see the red on this map, and that will continue throughout this Friday. Forecast track for you, the latest, a Category 1 storm. We do expect it to make landfall as a Category 1 storm later on this afternoon with winds around 85 miles per hour. And then unlike yesterday, unlike moving over Florida, although it did weaken a bit, we do expect it to weaken very drastically once it makes landfall. Still, there will be a huge rainmaker, and that will be a huge concern as we go throughout the rest of Friday into Saturday. And that rain's going to extend into portions of the Northeast over the weekend as well when it turns into a remnant low of Ian. So the storm surge, big threat. We saw all those terrible videos and pictures and stories out of Florida. Storm surge is a wall of salt water. So it's very fast, it's furious, it's strong, and it sort of just takes everything in its path. We saw that bridge in Sanibel Island. So that's what we're concerned along the coast in South Carolina. We're going to be watching these high tides very closely, the next one coming during the 11 o'clock hour. And we're looking at the impacts. Heavy, heavy rainfall. Where you see the brighter colors, that's where we're expecting the heaviest rainfall. So likely along the coast, but this is a big swath of really heavy rain. Again, we could see locally 12 inches of rain, and a lot of us will see some flooding as we go throughout Friday and into the weekend. On top of this, I hate to say this, but we do have a severe weather threat. This often happens with landfalling hurricanes, we see tornadoes, but this is a wide swath, guys. We're looking into portions of Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, also portions of the Carolinas where we could see some tornadoes as well. Back to you.
It never ends. Severe weather threat, storm surge. But Michelle, thank you for keeping us posted, hoping people stay safe.
Thank you. Talk to you in a bit.
And this morning, Hurricane Ian is once again a hurricane. The monster storm regaining strength as it bears down on Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah, the storm laid waste to Florida, causing catastrophic damage in a number of Gulf Coast communities. The death toll from the hurricane rising overnight, and now the race is on to rescue hundreds of stranded people. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock reports from hard-hit Fort Myers.
Many parts of Florida are reeling this morning, clearly. But right here, Fort Myers, Lee County, is definitely the epicenter. You look over my shoulder right now. Concrete slabs and shredded homes for blocks and blocks. Boats, not just fishing boats, but yachts upturned on the roadways as the death toll right now has reached 12 and rising. About 250,000 Floridians have been displaced. Those are both figures that are supposed to go up dramatically as first responders right now are reaching some of the hardest hit areas.
Nearly 48 hours after Hurricane Ian ripped through large swaths of Florida, the scene's still surreal.
5 units that are burned to the ground, but still smoking with water coming out of the ground.
The monster storm reshaping not only the landscape, but the lives of millions who call Southwest Florida home. Fort Myers beachfront property obliterated into fields of rubble. Charming Port Charlotte now underwater. Hard-hit Sanibel Island, approachable only by boat. And Venice Beach, a small community popular with retirees, shredded by winds topping 150 miles an hour. This cluster of homes burned by a knockdown power line. Some neighbors stunned.
It's a manufactured home, but it's brand new. I don't think it's 6 weeks old.
Others just heartbroken.
It's really too sad for me to talk about. Thank you, guys.
The reality of a lifetime of retirement planning for this couple suddenly came crashing down.
We were across the street. We saw the roofs blowing off, but we thought possibly we were one of the lucky ones. Unfortunately, we weren't.
And the death toll now in the double digits, though that figure is expected to rise substantially.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history.
In Orlando, a nursing home evacuated Thursday amid rising floodwaters. Police forced to do their patrols through water-filled roads. And even in communities like Naples, where surging floodwaters have subsided, business owners are returning to stores that can't be saved.
They talk about surges all the time. We never thought that this would happen to us. We lost so much inventory.
Lives and homes battered by a relentless storm. But heroes stepping in this morning. Search and rescue efforts are ongoing. In Charlotte and Lee counties alone, more than 500 rescues so far, keeping the U.S. Coast Guard busy. Florida coming together to clean up after this devastating storm.
And President Biden says he's going to be visiting the storm-ravaged area as soon as it's safe to do so. But with the scale of the damage, it's not clear how soon that will be. I can also tell you I've been having conversations with grandparents in all these affected communities trying to reach their kids and their grandkids. But the cell service is so bad, the message won't go out. Those same families are reaching out to me and trying to see how can they reach their grandparents. So certainly a two-way situation right now that is very difficult. In Fort Myers, Sam Brock, NBC News.
All right, Sam Brock, thank you so much. And joining us now with more on the recovery effort is Fort Myers City Manager Marty Lonning. Marty, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time on what I know is a difficult day for your community, so thank you so much. I mean, we just saw there what's going on in Fort Myers, as Sam Brock, our friend, just explained, one of the hardest hit areas in Florida. Before I ask you a question, I do want to play a little bit of sound from Governor DeSantis talking about this destruction. Let's listen to that.
To see a house just sitting in the middle of Estero Bay, literally must have gotten picked up, flown because of the massive wind speed and the storm surge, and deposited in a body of water. There was cars floating in the middle of the water. Some of the homes were total losses. I would say the most significant damage that I saw was on Fort Myers Beach.
Marty, if you wouldn't mind just explaining to us the impact Ian has had on the Fort Myers community, what it's been like to see this destruction with your own eyes for you and your fellow community members. How's it going?
Well, all things considered, it's going well. I think the distinction I need to make is that the city of Fort Myers is different than the city of Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers is a urban center of the county with a population of about 90,000, about 14 miles from Fort Myers Beach. So the impact was significant here in Fort Myers, but not quite the devastation on Fort Myers Beach. So we are on the Caloosahatchee River, which is a very wide river, about a mile wide to a half-mile wide in various sections adjacent to the city. And we have a yacht basin, and boats were piled up and displaced out of the yacht basin. Some of the docks were destroyed and floated into the downtown streets. A lot of debris and trees down, some homes damaged, water entered some homes in the lower areas of the city. So a very strong storm, high winds, a lot of rain, the highest storm surge that anyone in the community can remember. So very strong storm, but different than Fort Myers Beach.
And Marty, you said it, right? The strongest storm surge so many community members even remember. And we heard President Biden double down on a call to provide additional aid to Florida. He says he dispatched more than 1,000 FEMA personnel. How does Fort Myers plan to use this additional funding, and what resources does your city really need right now?
Well, we can certainly use the resources in our community. Like I said, we're not, the devastation is not quite like Fort Myers Beach, but we will need resources as far as equipment, water, food during the recovery process, and actually personnel such as National Guard to help expedite the process to get back to normal, and that's our goal.
Let's talk about the situation with power, if you don't mind, Marty. Over 400,000 people in Lee County are out of power right now. Any idea on when people can expect their power to be restored and where they can go, what they can do in the meantime?
That is undetermined at this point. I know that there were about 300,000 out of power yesterday morning, and I think some progress has been made. So that was about 98%. The county, and I think that they've worked that down maybe close to 9 or 10%, but it always seems like it goes slower than you would like. So some people are doing without power and water. So it's a stressful time, but I know the utility providers are doing the best they can.
And Marty, obviously, we've been talking a lot about the land and the infrastructure, but this has been devastating for the people of Fort Myers. Here's what one person had to say about returning home after Hurricane Ian, and then we'll talk on the other side.
You know, when you first experience all this, it really is sort of numbing. You're overwhelmed. You're still in a little bit of shock. It's not my first hurricane, but it's my first total loss. So I'm trying to be brave. I think I've lost everything I own.
Not my first hurricane, but my first total loss. And her story is not an anomaly. So what's your message to people who've been so greatly by this storm and are now looking to rebuild, in some cases, their entire lives?
Well, it's always difficult. We always do, the county and the municipalities, we do a good job of encouraging people that are in the flood areas, zones A, B, or C, to evacuate and worry about themselves and their safety first, and then after the storm, deal with their property and real estate issues. So having dealt with many storms in other states where I've worked on the coast of North and South Carolina, it can be devastating when people go back and see the condition of their residents.
Absolutely. Marty Lang, we know it's a busy morning and a tough day there. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And a state of emergency has been declared in South Carolina as Hurricane Ian barrels toward the state as a Category 1 storm. It will be the third time Ian is making landfall since the storm's formation.
The hurricane has already decimated Cuba and Florida before taking aim. Now at South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina are also prepping for the storm with severe flooding and rain expected. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park joins us now from Charleston, South Carolina, where you can already see what that weather looks like behind her. Kathy, good morning. Tell us more about the conditions. We can obviously see the wind. When we saw you last hour, we could see rain. What are you dealing with on the ground?
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Yeah, well, Ian is supposed to make landfall in the next couple of hours, but as you just said, we are feeling the impacts of this massive storm already. I believe in the last hour when we last spoke, you were seeing us getting slammed with heavy bands of rain. The wind is really the big headline right now. The wind gusts have pretty much held steady for the last several hours, but really the timing of the system is critical because the storm is supposed to hit land around noon today. That's also the same time as high tide, and then the rain is really supposed to pick up as well. So when you put all those things together, that literally is kind of a perfect storm. So we could be looking at widespread coastal flooding in this area, and that's what officials are monitoring and potentially worried for.
And Kathy, it's Zinkley here. We know South Carolina began preparing for the hurricane earlier this week. What have those preparations specifically looked like? And is there anything people in coastal areas can do in these last moments before the storm actually makes landfall?
Yeah, Zinkley. So this is low country, and folks here really know the drill. They have gone through a lot of storms over the years. In fact, an interesting note is that the last time a hurricane actually made landfall was back in 2016, Hurricane Matthew. And a lot of people have weathered that storm. Flooding on a good day is pretty commonplace in this area because of so many of these low-lying areas. But out and about yesterday, we noticed a lot of people have started sandbagging. That's already out. A lot of the businesses in the downtown area have boarded up. So they are prepared for what's to come with this Category 1, which should be making landfall in the next couple of hours.
All right, Kathy Park, thank you so much. Please stay safe out there. Our coverage of Hurricane Ian continues in just a few minutes, and we're also following several other major stories this morning.
That's right. Coming up next, 24 killed in a Russian strike in eastern Ukraine as the Kremlin tries to annex part of the region. The latest on the fighting ahead. You're watching Morning News Now.
Welcome back. There's breaking news out of Russia overnight. President Vladimir Putin is set to declare 4 Ukrainian territories to be part of Russia.
It's a move denounced by the White House and the West as an illegal annexation that marks another turning point in the war. NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel has the very latest.
Savannah, Zinkley, while Russia continues to suffer huge battlefield losses in Ukraine, so much so that it had to call up a draft to find more combat troops. Today, Vladimir Putin announced a major gain from the war, formally annexing to Russia roughly 15% of the entire country of Ukraine. The United States and Ukraine call it a land grab, and it further escalates the risk of a nuclear showdown with the West.
President Vladimir Putin announcing today that Russia, already the world's biggest country, is growing bigger still by annexing 4 parts of Ukraine that Russian troops have managed to occupy so far. The annexations follow controversial referendums in which voters allegedly chose to link up with Russia forever by as high as 99%. The United States and Ukraine called the referendums a sham. The voting was overseen by pro-Russian militias in Russian military-occupied areas, witnesses say, at times at gunpoint. It comes as the fight around those Russian-occupied territories continues. This morning, Ukrainian officials saying over 20 are dead after strikes on a civilian convoy near Zaporizhia. The Ukrainians saying the convoy was made up of people aiming to pick up relatives from areas occupied by Russia. Russia blaming the attacks on Ukraine. President Putin is still trying to marshal Russia's new army, but the Russian army is showing cracks. The Kremlin was forced to replenish its ranks after the Ukrainian military, backed by the United States and NATO allies, this month broke through one of Russia's main front lines. In a rare acknowledgement of a setback, President Putin saying it is necessary to fix the mistakes and avoid making them again. Thousands of men have fled the country. But President Putin is trying to flip the script and show that his so-called special military operation has been a triumph. The new annexations set up a potential nuclear crisis with the West. The Kremlin says it will defend its newly claimed land, which it calls New Russia, as if it were Moscow, and shield it with nuclear weapons. While Putin insists he's not bluffing, Washington is not backing down or even slowing down on weapons shipments to Ukraine. The arms heading right for battlefields that Russia says are now inside Russian territory.
The annexation makes what has been a conventional war, mostly confined to eastern and southern Ukraine, far more volatile. Because now, if President Putin feels that his troops in Ukraine are suffering losses, he can claim that Russia itself is under attack and threaten to use nuclear weapons. Savannah, Zinkley.
All right, Richard Engel, thank you so much.
And now to more international headlines. In Cuba, people are still having power problems after Ian hit the island earlier this week.
Yeah, Claudio Lavanga is back with us from Rome with that and more. Hey, Claudio.
Good morning. Yes, a couple of days after Hurricane Ian left Cuba without power, reportedly a few hundred people took to the streets in the island to demand the restoration of electricity. According to an Associated Press journalist, about 400 people gathered in the capital, Havana, by chanting, "We want light," while banging pots and pans. Now let's go to the Sea of Japan, where warships from South Korea, the United States and Japan launched their first anti-submarine drills in 5 years. According to South Korea's Navy, the training is meant to cope with the North Korean push to advance its ability to fire missiles from submarines. In the past few days, North Korea launched a series of missile tests in an apparent response to the planned joint military exercises. And let's stop by Windsor Castle in England, where on Thursday the chapel where Queen Elizabeth II was buried opened to the public. Hundreds of royal fans queued for a chance to pay their final respects to the late Queen. In the meantime, her death certificate was also made public, where unsurprisingly it says that the 96-year-old monarch died simply of old age.
Oh.
A long life, but a long-lasting legacy, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Claudio, thank you so much.
And 6 states in the U.S. are suing the Biden administration over its plan to forgive federal student loans. The Republican-led states of Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska and South Carolina jointly filed the lawsuit, which seeks to block the program's implementation set for next month. Lawyers argue the plan violates the separation of powers and would also cost those states tax revenue. This is the second legal challenge this week against the president's plan. Meanwhile, the Department of Education yesterday scaled back eligibility for the program, stating that borrowers with federal loans held by private lenders are excluded from getting relief.
And our coverage of Hurricane Ian's path of destruction continues after the break.
Including the latest on the cleanup process. Coming up, how long it's expected to take and what Floridians need right now.
Let's get the latest track of Ian right now. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is back with us. Hey, Michelle.
Hey there, guys. Great to see you. And we are looking at that track in a landfall later on today in the afternoon hours as a Category 1 storm. It weakened yesterday a bit over the state of Florida, although really held on a long time to that hurricane strength, eventually weakening to a tropical storm. Then it moved over the Atlantic, and that's where it regained its strength as a Category 1 storm. So let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers, because we are looking at very gusty winds, damaging winds that could cause some power outages. Winds are at 85 miles per hour. We're seeing the movement at north at 9 miles per hour. It's going to start to make that turn towards the northeast, towards the coast of South Carolina, and then we do expect that landfall later on today. But notice we overlaid the winds, we overlaid radar on top of this, just to show you that we're already feeling the impacts of Ian along the Carolina coast. We're seeing a tropical storm force speed for winds in Charleston, up to 32 in Myrtle Beach, 33 mile per hour wind gusts in Wilmington, and up to 35 in Savannah. Off the coast, we're looking at 60 mile per hour wind gusts off of Bowie along the coast of South Carolina. As a result, we do have tropical alerts because we are feeling the effects. We will feel the effects of Hurricane Ian in just a few hours. We're looking at 13 million people impacted. We do have tropical storm watches, warnings along North Carolina. Then we have a hurricane warning along South Carolina. That is where we expect landfall somewhere between Myrtle Beach and Charleston, a little closer to Charleston and a little closer to Georgetown, South Carolina. That's what it looks like right now. Taking a look at flood alerts, many people impacted, millions and millions, 15 million people impacted by a flood watch. That is in green. It impacts portions of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, into a small part of Georgia, including Savannah. We're also looking at flash flood warnings. Those are the red boxes. That means flooding is happening right now. We are so ahead of the storm right now. So it's an indication of what we're going to see as we go throughout time here. Heavy, heavy rain that could lead to life-threatening flash flooding. We're going to see power outages with trees coming down. The ground's going to be really wet. So let's take a look at the track because it is close. We're looking at Hurricane Ian not too far from the coast. We're looking at an afternoon landfall somewhere around 3-4 p.m. as a Category 1 storm. We see those winds probably will be right around 85 miles per hour. The cone is pretty small, so there's a big consensus that we're going to see the landfalling anywhere between Myrtle Beach and also Charleston. We're looking at hurricane force winds as it makes that landfall. And notice how far these tropical storm force winds go, because typically we talk about the cone, we focus on the cone, but that really is only telling us where the center is going to pass over land. You want to look well outside the cone for the impacts of rain. We're going to feel rain in the mid-Atlantic, even up to the Northeast tomorrow. And we're going to feel those tropical storm force winds 265 miles outside the center of this system. It's going to weaken rapidly as it makes landfall. Unlike yesterday, where it held on to that strength in Florida, we're going to see that weaken into a remnant low, but it still doesn't change the water story. That changes the wind story. We're going to see the winds die down a bit, but we're going to really see that water story going on in terms of the storm surge, also rainfall. So you guys, we could see 4 to 7 foot storm surge, and that's a wall of water. It's fast, it's furious. We saw all those pictures out of Florida, the damage it caused. So that's our main concern as we go throughout the rest of this Friday. Back to you.
Oh, absolutely. And this late into the storm, still talking about a storm surge that high. Wow. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. We'll be back to you. Sure. And now we've got a closer look at the devastation caused by Hurricane Ian along the Gulf Coast.
That includes Sanibel Island, now completely cut off from the mainland after Ian made landfall less than 20 miles away. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky got a first-hand look at the damage there. Morgan, it's good to see you. What can you tell us about what you're seeing?
Yeah, Savannah Zinclay, good morning. And this should be day 2 of a very long recovery process. But as we listen, there are still search and rescue helicopters overhead at this hour trying to account for everyone who could be left stranded or still missing. One area especially hard hit, as you mentioned, was Sanibel Island, now completely cut off as a result of Hurricane Ian. This tight-knit community witnessing some of the worst of what this storm left behind. This morning, communities on Florida's Gulf Coast left cut off. Sanibel Island, once a picturesque escape for vacationers, now the scene of complete devastation.
It got hit with really biblical storm surge, and it washed away roads, it washed away structures.
The island taking the brunt of Ian's impact as the monstrous storm made landfall. Time-lapse video shows the storm surge drowning the area, the wall of water rising an estimated 8 to 15 feet.
I mean, there's just stuff going everywhere. I've never seen damage like this. I've lived here my whole life. It's unreal.
Boats tossed like toys. The lone bridge connecting the island cracked and crumbled, with the storm's 140-mile-an-hour winds putting some sections totally underwater.
We've had about 200 households that didn't evacuate on the island that we know of.
Anyone still trapped on the isolated island now waiting for rescue by boat or air. We joined the Lee County Sheriff as he surveyed some of the hardest hit areas to see the full scope of Ian's power.
Your heart sinks when you look down and you know that as we are speaking right now, there are people that want us and need us, and we can't get to them.
People like Jack and Betty Hennard, an elderly couple who hasn't been heard from since the storm hit their condo.
The worst part is the wait and the unknown and not knowing if they're okay.
Their son Scott says his parents were unable to evacuate in time and forced to hunker down on their ground floor.
She said there was no water before. Now the water's 3 to 4 feet. It's rushing rapidly. We're stuck here in this clubhouse. We can't get across to higher grounds.
Even on Florida's mainland, near the famed Fort Myers Beach, the damage is historic.
You ain't gonna be able to get in that house safely.
We met John Strong, a volunteer out checking on neighbors, hoping to help those who lost everything from a storm that rewrote the rules.
We were Irma ready.
But not Ian.
No, absolutely not.
And unfortunately, that's the sentiment we have heard from so many people here. They had seen Irma, another powerful hurricane, come in 2017. They thought they were ready for Ian, but the sheer power of this hurricane has definitely changed how everyone feels as a result of these storms. And the damage behind me, just a testament to that. We do know power's been restored to about 1 million Floridians. That leaves still 1 million more in the dark. And as for Sanibel Island, it could take years before that causeway is back up and running. In the meantime, they are trying to figure out some sort of ferry service for the hundreds of people who called that place.
Appreciate your reporting.
And for more, let's bring in Major Carlisle Gargis. He's the area commander for the Salvation Army serving the Fort Myers area. Good morning, Major Gargis. Thank you for joining us, especially on a day like this. So what is your top priority in your response to this storm and helping areas like Sanibel Island?
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on this morning. Top priorities are getting our teams out into the field to deliver, basic food and sustenance for people trying to get their lives back together, trying to find their houses. Matter of fact, can't even get to my house even now. And we continue to bring in more assets from the Salvation Army. I know we have a large strike team coming in from Texas. It will be in later today. And hopefully this weekend we'll be able to ramp up to providing over 15,000 meals a day. So a lot of things are happening here. We're very busy and we're on the ground, and we are helping our neighbors, our people, our neighbors that we love and that we serve with here in our community.
Major Gargis, it's so incredible to hear you talking about helping your neighbors as you're unable to even get to your own home. And again, we appreciate your time while you're dealing with all of this. Tell us what resources are in place as people begin the difficult process of cleanup and recovery, but also for people just like yourself who can't even get home right now. What do you have to help people?
Well, right now at the Salvation Army, we're providing, again, basic food is going out, water. Of course, we don't have any clean water here. Water system is down, so we're getting water into folks. And we also are hoping to get some tarps and some other supplies in to help people patch their roofs so they won't be leaking anymore. I mean, it's really all hands on deck doing whatever we can do with whatever we've got to make it happen.
And Major, when we see tragedies like this, often there are mass calls for fundraising and people saying, we want to help. What are you hearing? Yes. What do people need the most on the ground?
Well, while we talked about food, we talked about all kinds of things anything that you would need in your house and that you use every day is all gone. Yeah. And the best way for us to handle that is for folks to they can simply donate to 1-800-SAL-ARMY. That way I can bulk order and have stuff drop shipped to right where I'm at. So that cuts down to having to have other resources to move supplies and to sort supplies. We're able to bring them right in, already ready to go. And so 1-800-SAL-ARMY is the easy way to do that.
I was just about to ask, what's the best way for people who are watching to give help? Can you just tell us a little bit about when someone does call that number, what exactly that means? If they are donating there, what type of things are being purchased and how they are getting directly to people who need it?
Right. They're able to take their information, they're able to give with their credit card or however, and then I'm able to put in, because of that, I'm able to actually put in an order what I need and what I'm hearing people are requiring, and I'm able to get those in here, the supplies that they need, because I'm in a 3-county area, so I'm actually shipping stuff to multiple areas around, because everyone has been impacted. The devastation is widespread, and we're just grateful for help for folks that are thinking about the Salvation Army. And also, one other thing, please pray for our people. Think of our people here, because we're just getting started. These are some really tough days, but we are a people of hope. And we like to say in the Salvation Army that hope is on the way.
That's certainly something everybody can do that doesn't cost them anything. But Absolutely. We did have right there on the screen how you can help.
Yes, and hope is key. We appreciate you echoing that sentiment as you're going through so much. Major Carlisle Gargis, thank you.
Continue to stay safe, and we'll be thinking about you and your home. We'll check in. And we are following other news this morning as well. Coming up, are we headed towards a recession? Low unemployment and high inflation, where the economy stands and what it means for your budget ahead.
Plus, a dangerous hit on the field outrage this morning after Miami's quarterback suffers a blow to the head. The latest on his condition next.
We're back now with the latest on the uncertain economy. And if it seems like a confusing time to you with high inflation and low unemployment, you're not alone. Veteran economists are divided over what it all means and whether it's going to get better or worse in the near term. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello joins us now from Washington. Tom, yesterday we got even more conflicting information on whether or not we are in a recession. People at home are confused and stressed. Tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher. I mean, we got GDP numbers showing the economy has contracted this year, but applications for unemployment benefits fell to their lowest level since the spring. Big retailers are signaling that consumers are pulling back on their spending. Facebook, parent company Meta, putting a hiring freeze in place. Meanwhile, there are signs that gas prices may come down even further. Yet another closing bell on Wall Street, bringing more red arrows to Americans' retirement and college savings accounts. Here's the big picture. The broad S&P index is now sitting at 2-year lows, down 23% this year, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ has lost 31%. Inflation and recession fears are the big drivers. One inflation indicator hitting Americans in the pocketbook, new mortgage rates have skyrocketed to 6.8%, the highest since 2007. Near Boston, Aaron Burdoff and his wife, Annie Springfield, would like to buy a bigger house for their growing family, but with few homes on the market, they are getting priced out.
Obviously, a higher sticker price, in addition to a higher mortgage rate, obviously compounds the problem.
Meanwhile, more concerned that the economy is in or is headed for a recession, with GDP numbers suggesting the economy has been shrinking this year. That's the typical definition of a recession. But there is nothing typical about this economy. Inflation is running at 40-year highs despite a drop in gas prices. Yet unemployment remains at a 50-year low. Companies are reluctant to lay off employees amid a worker shortage.
We're not in recession, but obviously recession risks down the road here are quite high.
So what should families do? If you've got a long-term time horizon, most financial pros recommend you keep contributing to your investment accounts, but also prioritize paying down debt and conserve cash. Some online banks are offering 3% interest on savings accounts. Government I-bonds are offering 9.6%. CNBC's Sharon Epperson covers personal finance.
Cash is absolutely king right now. Try to get the best return you can for your cash, but bottom line, make sure you're liquid. Make sure you have some cash on hand.
All right, another factor that is moving the markets. We are closely watching what is happening in the UK. Financial markets are delivering a no confidence vote to the British government's economic strategy. That is sending the pound to near record lows against the dollar. And yes, we're talking about the once mighty pound. One more point, guys. We are now averaging $3.79 a gallon on gasoline. That's well below the $5 we were paying in June. And most experts are now thinking we could go to $3.50 a gallon by Halloween, as long as we don't see another hurricane hit the Gulf Coast, hit oil facilities, and it's all dependent on what happens with Russia and Ukraine and that whole strategy playing out. Back to you guys.
Absolutely. Lots of variables there, but at least a little bit of good news for now. Tom, thank you so much.
And now to more financial headlines, starting with Nike and its high inventory levels driven by supply chain issues.
Bertha Coombs is back with us with that and other business news this morning. Hey, Bertha.
Hey, how are you, ladies? We've got shares of Nike this morning are going to be a big drag on the Dow. For the past 2 years, the company said that it didn't have enough inventory to meet consumer demand. Well, now it has too much. The company says higher discounts and shipping costs squeezed its profits in its most recent quarter. It's going to mark down even more goods, particularly when it comes to apparel, not so much when it comes to shoes. And you'll see a lot of those bargains coming into the holiday shopping season. Meantime, Google is shutting down its Stadia gaming service after nearly 3 years. What's Stadia? Well, that's the problem. A lot of folks didn't really get into it. It failed to attract enough interest. So gaming companies overall are facing a slowdown in demand from the highs that we saw during the pandemic, and inflation is causing some consumers to cut back on their entertainment spending. So Google's going to refund all purchases made through the Google and Stadia stores, and players will still be able to play games through mid-January. And it's been a rough year for Peloton as demand has dropped for its fitness gear. As part of its turnaround plan, the company started selling products through Amazon. Now Peloton has a brick-and-mortar deal with Dick's Sporting Goods. You'll be able to walk into any store and buy a bike, tread, or guide after seeing it in person. Dick's employees will be trained to help shoppers with the equipment. Peloton will handle delivery and setup, at least to start with. A lot of changes at that company.
Yeah, there's no shortage of news coming from Peloton, that's for sure.
I like the sound of it, though. I got into biking during the pandemic.
I'm a Peloton fan. Don't get me wrong.
Bertha, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I've been a little scared.
All right, and now to some news from the NFL. The Dolphins star quarterback suffered a frightening injury to his head and neck in a game against the Bengals. He was taken off the field on a stretcher as worried teammates and fans looked on. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has the details.
This was very difficult to watch. The young star's head bouncing on the field after taking a nasty hit. Thankfully, we're told he was expected to be discharged from the hospital overnight and fly home with the team. But the incident is raising questions about whether he should have been playing in the first place.
You think about the back, the ankle, but he gets thrown to the ground.
Players, fans, and viewers watching the game at home, holding their collective breath after a frightening injury on the field in a game between the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Dolphins' young star quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, lying motionlessly, his fingers contorted in front of his helmet after a sack that left him seemingly unconscious on the field. Commentator Al Michaels saying this after talking to longtime trainer and sports medicine analyst Mike Ryan.
He sees that, and he's watching this as you are as well. It's a neurological response to head trauma.
Tua remained on the turf for more than 7 minutes before he was taken off the field and to a hospital. The Dolphins saying he suffered head and neck injuries, adding he is conscious and has movement in all his extremities. The Dolphins head coach saying Tua likely suffered a concussion.
That was an emotional moment. That is not part of the deal that anyone signs up for.
The injury comes just 4 days after Tua hit his head in Sunday's matchup against the Buffalo Bills that appeared to leave him disoriented after getting up.
And Tua, he's woozy.
Tua briefly left that game, but later returned to lead his team to victory after clearing concussion protocol during halftime.
I kind of hit my back and kind of hurt, and then I got up, and then that's kind of like why I stumbled. My back kind of locked up on me. But for the most part, I'm good past whatever concussion protocol they had.
After Tua's quick return to Sunday's game, the NFL Players Association questioning whether the Dolphins violated the NFL's concussion protocol, saying overnight a review is ongoing, emphasizing their concern tonight is for Tua and we hope for a full and speedy recovery. The Dolphins saying an independent doctor had cleared Tua to play. Fans posting their outrage on social media. One tweeting, "The Dolphins and NFL failed Tua tonight."
The NFL released a statement overnight saying in part that Sunday's concussion protocol on Tua was conducted in the locker room by team and medical staff and an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. It's important to note that what happened to Tua has once again put renewed focus on head injuries in the NFL. The league said it's working on providing safer protective equipment for players, including a new device called a Guardian Cap, which looks like a padded shell worn outside the helmet during practices, but not during games. Back to you.
All right, Miguel, thank you so much.
And there's a special documentary tonight on NBC News Now. NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff has been taking a closer look into how the black market cannabis industry employs victims of labor trafficking. Jacob introduces us to captives being held in desert greenhouses in what's known as a form of modern-day slavery. Here's a preview.
Get on the ground! Lay down! Get down! Get on the ground!
Do you all live here? Are you sleeping and staying here?
你们住这里睡这里吗？房车，这是房车。They live in a mobile home.
And you're from China?
Guangdong. They're all from Guangdong province in China.
How are you paid? Who's paying you?
谁？还没收过钱的，不知道啊。They said they haven't actually gotten paid yet.
You haven't been paid?
No.
This one is from Los Angeles. And then it says like profitable marijuana farm sublease. So it says you are in charge of growing it and I will be helping you with selling it.
Did whoever bring you here tell you the truth?
If they told her it would be like this, she wouldn't have come.
You can watch Jacob's special, The Captives of Cannabis, tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on NBC News Now.
Definitely be tuning into that. And coming up on Morning News Now, to the rescue.
It's the video that went viral, a man saving a cat in the middle of a hurricane. Well, we're going to talk to him next. Hear what was going on through his mind at the time. That's coming up. Welcome back. Well, we did not want to end the week without taking a moment to celebrate our very own Savannah Sellers and her now husband, Alex, who just had the most incredible wedding. Unfortunately, I was not a flower girl, but I'm still going to tell you about it. The venue was a villa in Tuscany, but they kept the exact location a secret until their guests arrived in Italy. The 3 days of celebrations included an all-white themed welcome party and a poolside bash. Savannah wore a beautiful, which you can see, oh my goodness, a white mermaid gown that featured a sweeping train trailing behind her and a dramatic flourish on the back. And the couple made the most of being in Italy at the candlelit dinner party, get this, by serving 3 courses of pasta. Congratulations to the bride and groom.
Thank you so much. I know you just said some of my favorite details. One was the pasta. I was like, you don't come to Italy and not just lean in on the pasta,
That's
right?
epic.
So we just were like, that's what everybody wants, right? So we just did 3 courses of pasta, no like chicken or steak or something, and people loved it. And yeah, the dinner room, I wanted it to look really dramatic and like an experience that nobody would ever have had before or maybe again. So it was just this big hall with 2 long tables, lots of candles. It was so fun. It actually was the best weekend of our lives. So it was just amazing.
Well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you
have
so
the
much.
newlywed glow. I can feel it. Can you feel
it? A little bit of a honeymoon tan. It's more tan than I've been in a long time.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
Welcome
back,
so
Savannah.
much. Thank you. It was very sweet.
Of course. And back to the news now. Whenever hurricanes or natural disasters happen, we often hear stories of heroism and people coming to the aid of others.
Yeah, and you actually probably have seen this now viral video of a Florida man braving rushing water. I mean, look what's going on around him. Strong winds, of course, to save a cat that had taken shelter on top of an air conditioner during Hurricane Ian. Well, the clip has been viewed millions of times around the world, and now we can hear from the man himself. Mike Ross is the hero here, and he joins us now from Florida to tell us what happened. Mike, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. And first, before we even get to your incredible rescue, I'm just wondering how you and your family are doing following the hurricane. Where were you then? Where are you now? Are you guys all doing okay?
Yeah, so we're safe now. We're hunkered up at my girlfriend's parents' house, which is a little bit east, but I had evacuated my home, which is an older home in a low-lying area, so I knew it was going to be flooded. I evacuated to my parents' house, which is on Bonita Beach, which was really in the, where the heart of where Ian hit. Fortunately, the structure of the home was safe, so I was safe there, but the amount of storm surge was just insane. I've never seen damage like this. Their house has suffered severe damage. Other homes are just totally gone.
Yeah.
It's not like they're damaged. It's just rubble. And I feel bad for those people that live in those homes and have lost everything, and also the animals that have died and those that have survived and are displaced. So it's just a horrific situation.
Yeah, and we're so glad you survived that. Talk to us about where you were and what went through your mind when you found the cat. What led you to go into the water, which we know is very dangerous?
So we were inside the house and looked out the window, which was, normally there's ground there, but at the moment it looked like a river. There was probably 6 feet of storm surge at the time, and we saw the cat clinging for dear life on the air conditioner. I just knew I had to go save it. And I'm glad I did, because the hurricane got so much worse after that. I mean, where I'm standing right there was water probably up to my head. That air conditioner is no more. The house that you see behind me there is gone. So the cat wouldn't have stood a chance if, I didn't go and get him.
Absolutely. Oh, it's incredible. Mike, we only got about 15 seconds or so, but just quickly, do you know who the cat belongs to? Has he been reunited with the family?
Really bad internet here. Haven't been able to find the owner yet. If we do, we're going to give him back to the owner. If not, I'll be keeping the cat.
Oh, we know he's in good hands, certainly, with you.
Absolutely.
Mike Ross, thank you so much, and we're thinking about your family. So sorry to hear about your community, and we'd love to check in with you. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So many people doing good, important work in the middle of a lot of devastation.
Absolutely.
Well, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.